Listen, I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart right now, which is the disaster after the disaster. It's the environmental fallout of in the in the air and water. It's toxic exposure, and I don't think people realize this. Uh, there's an overwhelming urge, and I'm fighting it right now to go back to your old way of life. To be able to wake up in your bed and go and do your exercise routine and your normal everything. And so there's this desire to go back into your house, and you're just not going to wear a mask and do the type of cleanup that you need to. So let's talk about what's in the atmosphere. So you've mentioned this before, right? Fire smoke contains particulate matter, PM 2.5 and PM 10. And that's what typically can be measured. My kid's school bought a device to measure that particulate matter. And I'm saying, honestly, that's not what I'm worried about. It's the dioxins, it's the furanes, it's the heavy metals that there isn't the technology. I'm looking online to find machines that can detect that accurately. And because that's what I care about. The stuff that you can measure, sure, let's minimize that. Hopefully, the rains and winds will slowly move that away. But it's the other stuff. Thoughts?
It raises a lot of, like, a high level. It made, when we first started talking about this, what I started thinking is, does disaster preparedness in the face of climate change mean that we have to start building things that can be flooded, be burnt, right? Like these things, unless we're actively solving climate change at the rate that we need to be actively solving climate change, the other option is, right, these seem to be the options. Either we create stuff that can be waterlogged and burnt without poisoning all species, or I don't know what Los Angeles does, because everything that doesn't get cleaned up is going to leach into the groundwater, which is already, I mean, it's not like LA has an abundance of groundwater. If this is, I think one of the things that you're going to see out of this, and at least that, the good news is 5 years ago, this didn't exist at scale, but we can now build solar powered desal. And
Yeah.
I think this is seems to be, can we do that fast and at scale and modularly, right? Like that seems to be a challenge that LA is going to have to face very quickly, because the water supply, I don't have, my thoughts are, oh, fuck. That's my
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. Here's some numbers. PM 2.5, which is a pollutant in wildfire smoke, was found to be 10 times more toxic and causing respiratory issues compared to non-smoke PM 2.5. So again, but this is nature going up in smoke, and I get that. It causes asthma. It's impacted you significantly from your fires, right?
Yeah, I got we like I and I've got good filtration indoors, and I wore a mask, but I have dogs, and I had to walk, I had to, walk the animals, and definitely shorten the lives of my pets. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the other thing we need to say about LA is the devastation for the plants, animals, and ecosystems is just, it's awful. We're already at the work we do with dogs. We're bringing in dogs from LA. We've got friends who are bringing them, to places all over America at this point. But like the fallout for the plants, animals, and ecosystems is
And
awful.
for the children who are going back to school, and I'm sorry, the kids are just not going to be wearing masks in school. Here's another stat, right? Burning materials. These are the materials that are in the homes, the materials that our modern world of abundance has given us. Release volatile organic compounds like benzene and methyl chloride, which are incredibly harmful even in low concentrations. So after the fires at Paradise, the benzene levels in the drinking water were 1,000 times above legal limit, which is insane, right? The long-term risks involved increased cancer rates, cardiovascular issues, neurotoxicity. These are the same sort of things that we found after 9/11, when the towers came down and all of the workers and all of the local citizens were out in trying to support. This is the disaster after the disaster. Just to be clear, I want people to realize that this is very real. And, as I drive around town here, it looks, if you're not seeing the devastated parts of Pacific Palisades, it looks normal. It's a sunny sky. People are out jogging without masks. It's just not safe. We've seen toxic particles like lead that
Yeah.
have traveled over 100 miles after a burn site. And guess what? Once we start doing the ash removal and the cleanup in the urban areas, this can scale the pollutants in the atmosphere for up to 2 years. So what do you do?